there, and welcome back to another Demon Slayer Season 3 review. And today we're going to be talking about the latest episode to drop, episode 9, which follows off from the ending of the previous episode where Tokido powers up to fight off Gyoko and save the swordsmiths. And at last, sees us return to the Team Tanjiro vs Wooden Dragon fight, which was something that I feel like was missing from the previous episode. It's been far more dramatic than the Tokido fight, and so I kind of wanted them to break up the scenes a little bit more. But of course, that's not what we got, so I think last episode did suffer a little bit. But anyway, getting back to it, this episode, it was a great relief. We got to see that fight again. Yeah, with all that being said, nothing else for it but to jump back into the episode. And so, let's begin. So yeah, we return to the episode where that mad lad swordsmith is still sharpening the damn sword. Which, you know, at this point, who's even going to use the sword? Like, yeah, it's going to go to Tanjiro in the end. But is it simply going to be given to him after the battle's over? After everything's said and done? Or is this guy, all bloody and wounded, just going to wander over to the battlefield, completely disregard the fact there's an important battle going on, and unleash a monologue about how this sword is the greatest of all time, and that Tanjiro had better not destroy it? Kinda hope it's the second option, honestly. It's ridiculous enough that it would realistically happen as well. And I just think it would add a bit of, you know, humour to the fight. Break up a bit of the seriousness. I think it would work well. And also, if anything, this dude's wounds, they've gotten even worse. How is he even still alive at this point, let alone still working on the sword? It's absurd, look at all those cuts. Anyway, to the fight. So this whole sequence with empowered Tokido and Gyoko, it's just great. It all feels like it's building up to this massive clash. And all the while, they're playing mind games with one another. Or at least, Gyoko tries to play mind games with Tokido, but fails every step of the way, as Tokido's ability to shit talk is apparently second to none. He tells him straight up that it's a fact that he's going to kill him, a fact that he's going to cut off his head, and that's just going to be that, game over. And then on top of that, he tells him his pot looks like shit, which causes the demon to rage even more, and on it goes. He calls him creepy, he gets called a dung beetle in return, and then our demonic friend loses his cool completely and unleashes an attack of 10,000 fish minions, which Tokido instantly obliterates, before forcing the demon to shed his skin when he strikes at him again, which, ugh. Everything about this dude's so truly gross, so I probably shouldn't be surprised that he's able to leave his husk of skin behind, but it's still so disgusting. Oh, just kill this freak, kill him. It disturbs me to see him on screen. But yeah, this is the part of the episode that becomes truly hilarious. He does the classic anime, "You fool, now I've unlocked my final form" sort of deal, which to anyone who watches much fighting anime or whatever, usually always means the hero is about to struggle hard for a while, and he'll have to grit his teeth to overcome the obstacles in front of him, often through the use of flashback. And usually this final form, it's treated with respect, as something scary. And so, I really enjoyed how this episode, it just subverted all the tropes. Literally all the tropes. Tokido just clowns on this dude's final form, he dodges all his attacks, he has an unrelated flashback of how the master's wife found him, alongside some of her kids, and how she nursed him back to health and saved him, before taking him back to the compound to train as a demon slayer. That's right, the episode, and Tokido I guess, treats this dude as such a joke that our hero can literally have an unrelated flashback just to beef up the episode's runtime before he utterly obliterates the dude. He cuts off his head, and then when the guy goes on a god-tier rant about how as a demon, he's worth far more than a mere human, he turns him into mincemeat, finely diced. I mean, this villain has a one-hit KO punch, turns you into fish if he hits you, and he just got obliterated. How embarrassing for him. And also, the sword stuff kind of confuses me. So, his moves actually create mist, like real mist? How? Is that ever explained? I figured it was just, you know, added visual flavor to make it look cool. Can everyone see that shit? That's pretty cool. But yeah, so dies the most disgusting and creepy demon in the show so far, at least in my eyes. Good riddance to him, honestly hated the dude with a passion. So I guess in that way, they really did succeed in making a really compelling villain here. In the end, a great fight, really loved the ending, it was unexpected, and I think it just worked well. It was just a classic case of this matchup being very bad for this demon, and also just goes to show how strong Tokido is compared to the other Hashira we've seen before. And then we see the aftermath of the battle. Tokido, after all this physical strain and probably that poison, starts to go into shock, and in a humorous scene, collapses, frothing at the mouth, whilst Kanamori panics. And this scene was very funny. Like, the whole episode so far had been pretty funny already and lighthearted, despite the fact that he was fighting a dangerous, psychopathic monster. But this was next level, and the panic continues as Kanamori freaks out about the presence of what he assumes is Kotetsu's ghost. As, how could he still be alive? He got stabbed in the stomach. Finally, some acknowledgement by the episode that he really should be dead, which I did like. And I like that they explained why he isn't dead. Rengoku's hilt saved him, the one that Tanjiro wants to use for his new sword. It stopped the blow and it saved Kotetsu's life. A posthumous assist for Rengoku. And then that flashback from Tokido God. Now I'm sad. Why'd you have to die, Rengoku? Why? Honestly missed that dude. He was the best. And then on top of that, they doubled down with Tokido being comforted by the ghosts of his family. Double damn. This arc's turning into an emotional roller coaster at this point. And I don't think my heart can handle it. We're going from humorous slapdowns to bittersweet spirit reunions. And he even gets his brother's approval after all this time. Oh, it's sad. But yeah, then we up the intensity of the episode once again, as we finally get back to the other fight. Finally, but with not much time left in the episode, which is a bit of a shame. But it is what it is. And honestly, part of me thinks that this arc has suffered a little bit by staying on each fight a little too long. You know, maybe having a more equal back and forth would have been better. Yeah, the fights might have felt like they were dragging on, but I think it would have helped with this somewhat disjointed feeling that I've been having throughout the season. Yeah, maybe not. But yeah, the wooden dragons, they're fighting them. Tanjiro, Genya, Nezuko, they're doing their best to fight them off. And I gotta say, I enjoyed the animation here. The action's very well done. I think this is where the majority of the season's budget's probably gone, right? But yeah, back to the story. In the end, they don't really have enough left in the tank. Nezuko and Genya get pinned down, which lets the dragons target Tanjiro. First by bursting his eardrums with a sonic blast, which really makes you give off a sympathy cringe. And then it crushes his foot, breaking it. Ugh. This show, sometimes the injuries are just so cringe-inducing. Seeing people get impaled and beheaded, sure. That's easy peasy stuff. Because how often is that going to happen to a normal person? Not often. It's hard to sympathize, but snapped bones, other more realistic injuries, the needles in Tokido's face, suddenly I'm weak at the knees. Yuck. Anyway, he then gets eaten, and considering how long he's inside the wooden dragon, and it's squishing him the whole time, he should have died. Sorry, but he should have died. His skull should have been crushed. Squish. But the plot armor does save the day for our boy, and Mitsuri arrives with her ridiculous ribbon sword thing to save the day, freeing him from the inside of the dragon and then giving him a piggyback ride to safety. And yeah, her arrival, whilst predictable, was very epic. I really enjoyed this part of the episode. Nezuko's face when she realized her idol had come to save them, very wholesome. And then she whooped significant ass, setting up the confrontation of love versus hate for the next episode, and likely also bogging us down with some more flashback sequences, which I am getting a little tired with. I mean, I just want to see the fights now, come on. I feel like this show actually needs more episodes a season. I hope this battle doesn't end up being rushed. The Gyoko one I'll accept, because the dude got cocky when he had him in the water pot, and he should have killed him then, but didn't. And so the story comes back around, lets Tokido power up, and he's too strong to beat by that point. It makes sense narratively, but here, I kind of want a proper clash, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty much where this episode ends, with the promise of a Mitsuri-focused episode next time. And so, yeah, better than last week. Still, I'd like a bit more of this storyline now. And hopefully, a lot of this next episode is going to be set in the present, but considering the title, I'm not so sure. And so with all that being said, these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it, hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.